welcome to the Brain to Book mini podcast. So, this is an occasional series where I talk to authors that I have worked with about the book that they wrote and the experience of becoming an author. So, we talk a bit about the book itself, why they wrote it, and what they learned on the journey. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Hello to Peter Webb, author of System 3 Thinking. Give us the full title of the book, Peter.
Oh, it's called System 3 Thinking, How to Choose Wisely When Facing Doubt, Dilemma or Disruption. I got so frustrated through the pandemic with all the foolish decisions being made that I thought I should write a book about it. So what else do you do in a pandemic?
Exactly. Okay, so well, you've almost summarised it in 25 words, but can you give us an idea in 25 words might be a bit harsh, but how tell us about the book. What's it about?
So the book is about a different way of thinking when it comes to solving really tricky problems, really tough decisions. So we know that system 1 thinking is when you're using intuition and you're thinking really quickly from your experience. System 2 thinking is when you have to step back and do some calculations, some rational approaches, if you like. But system 3 thinking emerges when you don't have enough information and when your experience doesn't really tell you which way to go. And it seems that it also offers a balance between system 1 and system 2 thinking. So it helps to put the brakes on your intuition, but it also helps to elevate your own rational thinking. And it creates, I suppose the best way to describe it is good judgment. So I found a way to measure good judgment and to see that it's different to the other ways of thinking when you're faced with a dilemma, a real dilemma. And some of the wicked problems that we're facing globally at the moment demand a different way of thinking about them.
So when you say wicked problems, sorry, what are you thinking of there?
Well, I'm thinking about the sorts of personal problems that happen when, for example, there could be relationship issues. Will I stay? Will I go? There could be issues at work. Will I put up with this or won't I? But then this extends into the economic field, the social field, the political field, some of the really difficult decisions. And I use the pandemic and management of the pandemic as a reference point to say, well, could decisions be made differently, during the 2 years of lockdown that we had here in Australia? And the answer is yes. If we'd used system 3 thinking, there would have been much more agility in terms of responsiveness and I think much more compassion, which was sorely missing.
So why did you decide that it was time to write a book? Why did you write this book?
Well, Kath, seriously, this is an overnight success, and an overnight success by definition takes about 15 years. So this book was 15 years in the making because I'd been researching this for about the last 15 years, been thinking about it, been writing papers about it. And so I had sort of an academic background in researching this area, and it came time to actually put it out there. I've been running programs on this topic in Asia while I was living in Southeast Asia for 3 years. And then I thought, well, if I've been running programs about it, all I have to do then is just write the book based on the programs. How easy is that? Well, not so easy as it turns out.
Okay, so it might lead on to the next question. What surprised you about writing the book? What was the surprising part of writing this book?
You know what? There are a couple of surprising things. Number one was how fast we got to a manuscript. I mean, you did promise, 90 days brain to book, and damn, you were right. I mean, in 90 days, we got to a manuscript. I can't believe it. And even the structure, the chapters and everything, that held true right through the subsequent writing. So that was a real surprise, how quickly I could get it out of my head onto the page. The second thing was that I lost my reader through the process. Okay. You're supposed to write for a reader. I definitely, had a reader in mind, and I was writing the book on that basis. But through successive lockdowns and through just feeling awful, I don't know what happened to my reader. He walked out the back door and vanished somewhere. And so what surprised me was I finished up writing the book for myself.
Okay.
I became the reader, and that was really surprising. And I think it became a better book because of that, because it was more relatable, even though in the end, I couldn't care less who read it. I was writing it for me, actually.
Fantastic. So what change do you want your book to achieve? What impact do you want it to have?
I definitely want my book to change the course of decision making. We have to shift away from foolish decision making, what the American historian Barbara Tuchman famously called wooden-headedness, which is making decisions based on wish and ignoring or deflecting from the facts.
Yeah.
We have to see reality as it is, and we have to make decisions on that basis. There's too much fake news. There's too much conspiracy. We don't know where the truth is anymore. And I want to find a way to help people, particularly people in senior positions, to make smart decisions, to make wise decisions, actually, because we might have a lot of knowledge, but we are sorely lacking wisdom, it seems to me. And I want this book to be a handbook for how to make wise decisions.
Fantastic. And so may I ask you also what impact the book has had on your professional business life, how it's been working in your practice?
Yeah, thanks, Kath. There's no way of knowing whether a book is going to be popular or not, whether people are going to like it or not. I was clearly going to have boxes of books gathering dust in my garage. That was probably going to be the way it was going to go. I'd give one to my mother and one to my sisters or something like that. Actually, the book has been flying out the door, and I've been surprised at the positive feedback that I've had from professional colleagues, from friends. It's really been quite overwhelming, and that really surprised me. So it's created a business in itself, because now I'm on speaking engagements to support the book. In fact, I've just come back from my first interstate business trip in over 2 years, directly as a result of the book. And I'm hoping to get many more engagements of that kind. So people are not only reading the book, but they're wanting to know how to apply it. That's tremendously exciting.
Fantastic. So if you're thinking about other authors, if you sort of think back to the time before you were an author, what would be a big tip that you'd give, or any tip, big or not, to authors who are like you at a point where they're thinking, maybe I could do this, maybe I could write this book?
Oh, it's what you used to tell me, Kath. Just do it. Just finish it. Get it out there.
Yeah. Okay.
I was obsessing over the details, and I've got a tendency to procrastinate and sweat the small stuff. And you just kept urging me, just get it out there, get it out there. And actually, when I followed that advice and just got it out there, that's what made the difference. And I can look at the book now and I can, criticize the manuscript and say, well, I could have done this, could have done that. But the fact that it's out there provides a platform for the next book and the book after that. So, now I kind of figured out how to write a book, and I've got a sense of the structure of it. Then the next one is going to be easier, and the next one after that. So, and I never thought I'd be writing lots of books, Kath. I thought this would be it. This would be my manifesto. And I remember that you offhandedly said one day, "Oh no, you'll write lots of other books." Really? So I think your ability to see what I was capable of and your encouragement were definitely factors in the success of getting the book out there.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for sharing those insights with us today. It's really fantastic, and being the very first guest on my mini podcast series.